Okay, it's been a little bit since I've done a video on some pad printed customs. Don't count the crosshair video, by the way, because I've had that on the back burner for like 2 months. But I've gotten a ton of really cool customs in the past few months. First up is a new producer for me. Orbital Minifigures released a bunch of Indiana Jones minifigure pieces designed by Connor Grewal, aka Henry Walton Studios, here on YouTube. I was super underwhelmed by the return of LEGO Indiana Jones. 3 sets and 1 cancelled set really was not enough. But Orbital and Connor absolutely killed it with these pieces. I was happy to see that we got one of my favorite looks in the plane chase set, but I was honestly really bummed that we didn't get a truck chase remake, meaning we didn't even have the potential to get a truck chase look for Indy. But this custom truck chase torso is perfect. Connor's design is perfect, and the printing from Orbital looks incredible. This was without a doubt the piece I was most excited to get, because this is the look I had for my first time ever cosplaying at San Diego Comic-Con this year. The other 2 torsos I got were the Streets of Cairo and the Temple of Doom ones. I think these are both almost perfect. But my one complaint is the chest pocket flaps being fully outlined with black. It absolutely does not ruin the torsos at all. It's just something that I think stands out a little too much. I think maybe if only the underside of the flap was highlighted, it would be a lot better. However, I am still extremely pleased with the Streets of Cairo torso. This is my favorite look for Indy in Raiders of the Lost Ark, so I am a little biased. But it's way better than what LEGO gave us, which was nothing. And finally, the Temple of Doom torso looks incredible as well. I still have the same complaint about the pocket flap, but it's far less noticeable here. To go along with this torso, there's also a replacement head that matches the battle damage from the bridge scene of Temple of Doom exactly, which is one of the things I love about these torsos. They're designed by someone who is also extremely obsessed with Indiana Jones details and replicates even the tiniest details without going overboard. These are such great pieces, and I highly recommend anyone who wishes there were more Indy sets in 2023 to get these. And there's even more than the ones I talked about. They really went all out. Next up is another banger. Mayday released Zealous Hunter version 2 earlier this year, but in June at Brick World Chicago, he had a surprise release of the Ransom Menace, aka Aura Singh. Aura is one of my all-time favorite bounty hunters in Star Wars, and I think she doesn't get enough love. I've always said that the Aura Singh from back in 2010 was one of my favorite official LEGO minifigures that I own. And now Light Custom, Melnik, and Gosler have made my favorite custom minifigure of all time. The detail, along with the incredibly high quality pad printing and that incredibly well designed face, make it hard for me not to put this at the #1 spot of my favorite customs. My only complaint is that I wish they produced more of the black suit version, and unfortunately it seems like we might never get a restock. But yeah, this figure is incredible, and if it isn't my favorite figure of all time, it's at the very least my favorite minifigure of this year. Also, I just want to add that she photographs so well. I mean, look at this. And to end off the video, let's do a good old GCC lightning round. I haven't gotten many GCC minifigs in the back half of this year. There just haven't been that many minifigures that have grabbed my interest. First off, let's start with the Tyne X GCC Senate Commandos. These are available only through Tyne, and that's why I am so late to this party. I got the versions without the helmets since GCC sent me 2 replacement helmets for the blue Senate Guard from earlier this year. These are awesome. I think this is a perfect use of these really great helmet molds from GCC. And it's also cool because blue is my favorite color, and these are just clone armor, but blue. I like blue. Next, GCC finally made a Kamino Security Commander. I think we still don't have a name or number for this guy in canon, and it's been like a decade since we were introduced to him. Anyway, this guy is cool. Nothing crazy, but it's a pretty niche character, and y'all know how much I love those. Next is Padme in her rejecting Anakin dress from the greatest cinematic masterpiece, Attack of the Clones. I really like the design of this minifigure, except for one thing. Her boobs are just a little over-designed in my opinion. Like, these lines on the torso probably didn't need to be there, but everything else about the minifigure is great and really well designed by Melnik. I really hope that GCC continues producing minifigures besides clones. Like, I know clone is literally in their name, but they really excel whenever they make a non-clone character. And lastly, a very special minifigure to me, the 501st Airborne Trooper. Remember in my Crosshair Bricks video when I was talking about the old Hasbro Order 66 2-packs? This guy is from those. And I have him. Somehow more intact than my Commander Bo. And just like with Bo, I love the action figure. And now to have a really well done Lego minifigure is just awesome. Sorry 212th Airborne, 501st Airborne is my favorite Airborne. And he pairs super well with this Anakin by Brick Daddy. Third Brick Daddy video coming soon. I was a little worried about the printing on the helmet since in the prototype pics, the visor seemed to curve down a lot, but in hand that's not a problem at all. I think really my only problem with this minifig is that they didn't make a new comma that's the same color but with a blue trim. Pad printed customs have been going wild this year. From newer producers to older well-known ones. I know I've said this many times at this point, but this year may go down as the best year for official style pad printed customs ever. We may be in a pretty weird time in the community right now, but still the amount of super well made customs has gone through the roof. I'm super happy to be here to see this boom. After a year of making videos about these customs, it's so satisfying seeing designers improve and get the recognition they deserve. And it's been awesome making new friends in this community. Later. Oh, and if you didn't see my community post, I'm working on the August and September retro reviews, but my dumbass chose 2 sets in a row that are kinda hard to film in my space. Okay, now later.